It's Miss Olivia Rondeau. Hello, girl.
Hi. Oh my God. What a great intro. I love that.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Oh, you are so welcome. How and when did you get into wrestling?
I started wrestling mainly to spite my dad because he was one of those people that is like, all my kids are going to play a sport every single season. And so in the fall, I always played volleyball. In the winter, I always played basketball. But when I got to high school, I really, really, really did not like the basketball coach. I did not like the basketball team. And I literally was like, out of spite, I'm just going to do the only other winter sport option, which is wrestling, the boys wrestling team. So I take the paperwork home. My dad's like, did they even allow girls on the team? Is there a girls team? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. There definitely was not a girls team. There still isn't a girls team at that high school, but I definitely learned a lot. My first year, I did it my freshman year. So my first year was definitely rough because they just like throw you in there. I think just being a female makes people want to go like 10 times harder on you because nobody wants to get beat by the girl, right? So it definitely was rough my first year, but then I started winning competitions and doing a lot of off-season practices and just kind of worked my way up. And so my junior year of high school, I actually made the Olympic development team. So I had to move to boarding school. And now I'm a collegiate wrestler, but unfortunately my season has been ruined because of COVID. So they sent everybody home. We're all doing online classes. I haven't even gotten to, go to college nationals or any of the cool things I really wanted to do this year. But fortunately, I kept my eligibility because of some NCAA rule. I don't really understand how it works, but I'll hopefully be back on the mat this fall.
So you actually haven't competed at all in college yet?
Correct.
Or was this your first year?
Ruined. Yeah. Everything is ruined.
Oh my God. It's so interesting to hear you talk about like you were thrust into basically an all male sport. Like that's pretty wild because this was and I imagine so you're talking about early aughts here. Like how long ago were you in high school on the wrestling team?
I'm 20 and I started when I was 14, so it was 2015 when I first started.
And was there any like pushback from like the other guys or the coaches being like, "Oh, there's a girl on the team"? Was there any weirdness?
I honestly had the best high school coaches ever. They really tried their best to treat me as just any other guy on the team, and I was not the first girl they've ever had on the team. So most of the coaches back then actually did have experience coaching like one or two females before. There definitely was some issues with. And not necessarily kids on my own team, but when we would go to an away match at another school, their referees, their coaches, their wrestlers had a problem with it because we were one of the very few schools in the county that had one or two girls on the wrestling team. So it was definitely like a topic of discussion. It was definitely a controversy at the time, but I will give my school a lot of credit because there was I know of a lot of other females who wrestle in this area who were not received by their schools, were kicked off of the team, were not allowed to try out. So I definitely got lucky with the people I was put with, but that's not to say I didn't face any sexism. I mean, the one time that rings out in my head the most was we were having a tri-meet, so 3 schools come together, and the referee typically brings all the teams together to go over the rules before the match starts. And I'm the only girl there. He looks right at me in a crowd of like 60 guys of the 3 combined teams and is like, and this is a man's sport. I don't want to see you crying when you lose. And this
wow.
He was like, literally, this is a boys' sport. Yeah, this was my freshman year. So this was about 5 years ago. And it really was like insane to me that he even singled me out, that he looked me in the eye in front of like all these dudes my first year wrestling and like literally tried to discourage me and try to shame me. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I was that referee and I saw a female wrestler, I'd want to encourage her and be like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to lose, come back next time. And this was before we even wrestled. Like he had no idea what my capabilities were or if I was a crybaby or anything like that. So he ended up losing his job So that was interesting.
Was he older? I'm imagining like a super the kind of guy that would react that way. Either like they have a daughter and they think like women are too precious to be in wrestling or like in that kind of a sport, or he just has never in his life, conceived that a girl could be a wrestler. I don't know.
Yeah, he was definitely a boomer. Like he was like it was just weird because the way he said it was like so hateful. Like, this is a man's sport. Don't cry when you lose. Like, oh my God.
You should have been like, I have a
you?
dick,
Right. Like, what did I do to you, sir? I'm 14 years old. What did I do?
Wow. Good for you.